I'm going to be showing you guys how you are able to close multi-five-figure deals on 1 or 2 call closes in whatever kind of offer that you have, just based on sales psychology. I just closed a $48,000 deal. I've closed hundreds of these, and I've even closed deals that are 6 figures paid up front. So I think teaching you guys the psychology behind how someone pulls out their credit card to process a $50,000 payment really goes down, because it is completely different than charging $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 for a service. So this is a $48,000 transaction that we just processed, and this is not anything unusual. We process these all the time. Realistically, if you look at how I close deals versus how you're currently closing deals, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just doing things completely different, okay? So you are able to take what I do different and apply it to your business. That is how you're able to increase your prices. And as usual, at the end of my video, I'm gonna have a bonus for you guys that is able to increase your close rate significantly. And I think it's definitely worth checking out at the end of the video. To show you guys the difference, this is exactly what something looks like when a normal individual is on a sales call. You do discovery, you go through pain, solution, you pitch, you get the first objection, you get the second objection, you get the third objection, and then you end up with no sale. Now, you may get sales along that trajectory if you handle the first objection or the second objection, but if you guys notice on my chart, I didn't put any objection. Because realistically, the way I position my sales process is that there is only one possible objection, which is price, so then I can handle it. So the only possible objection is one, okay? And the reason that is because if someone sees the value, there's gonna be no objection, because I would have answered all their questions before we even got to the pitch, which I'll show you exactly how I do. So there's three core differences between how I do sales and how probably you are currently doing sales. Is I focus heavily on credibility, emotional control, and objection removal. I'm gonna walk you guys through my strategies for every single one of these. And like I said, there's a bonus sticking at the end of the video. And by the way, before I move on further, if you guys find these videos valuable and you wanna see things more like this, then feel free to hit that subscribe button. I have tons of content similar to this coming out. Now, when it comes down to credibility, what does it even mean? Okay, this is a term that is very loosely used in today's marketplace, but what does it actually mean? Okay, so I put on the screen about 7 different things you guys can do. At the end of the day, number one most important thing, and by the way, these are ranked in order of most important to least important, your track record is the most important. No one cares if you're like featured on Forbes and things of that nature if you don't have actual clients that say you did a good job for them with proof of how you did it. Now, for me, the best thing that I've ever used is track record results. A lot of people make the mistake of doing the service that they fulfill. They never actually document that journey, and then you won't actually have a track record to say that this is what you did. For example, my craziest case study in the niche of the individual that I just showed as proof, I took someone from 10K a month to about 4 million a month in 18 months. That's a record-breaking case study. We documented the entire journey, and at that level, the client is very popular in their space, so it's very easy to use as a case study. Now, you don't need that level of crazy results, because honestly, having multiple mini case studies is a lot better than having one massive case study. Now, the benefit of what we've done is that we have done a bunch of mini ones, and then we have some massive ones as well. So if someone is talking to us because they want to replicate someone else's system, that is something that we can use as leverage. But if they don't know any of your clients, the thing that you can pull as leverage is the fact that you have so many of them that have seen success. Other things are important, like being recognized in media, like Forbes, Inc., Entrepreneur, whatever it may be. These are all super important, but no one is making a buying decision because of those. But if you don't have track record, that's like the second best thing, right? You can talk about a blog that you featured on Forbes, not talking about you as a person, because those are typically like sponsored. But if you are able to get in touch with these articles and say, hey, I want to write an article about AI or whatever it may be that you specialize in, a lot of times they'll review your blog and post it on their website and then just give you credit. That gives you the reputation of you being reputable at what you talk about, because a big news featured you as someone that knows what the hell they're talking about, okay? The third one is certifications and trophies, the 2 Comma Club Awards. That's a small example. These are not super important. Another one that you can do that doesn't require you getting $1 million in a single funnel is a Google Ads certification, Facebook Ads certification, or certification in whatever it is that you're actually doing. Those are things that always help create that 1% improvement. The next one is client testimonials, because those you can fake. The video versions of those are significantly better, of course, but you're not going to pause a sales call and then play a video. That's why I rank these as number 4, even though those on the outside looking in, these are definitely ranked much, much higher. The next one is a professional presence, right? If your website looks like it was built with a bunch of wood pieces and like whatever it may be, you use some shitty software, nobody's going to want to work with you. Okay. Same thing with your presentation. No one's going to want to go through a presentation that looks like it was made on Paint 3D. Okay. Like, make sure that everything you build looks professional, looks reputable, because this is something that not a lot of people talk about, but will 100% be able to help you charge more for your prices. The next one is social proof. I give the example of, would you trust someone with 100 followers or 100,000 followers? And every single person will say 100,000 followers. Now, the number itself doesn't matter as much as the length of how long you've been doing what you're doing. To give you guys an example, I feel much more confident trusting someone with 1,000 followers and 1,000 posts versus someone with 100,000 followers and 3 posts, okay? So make sure that you are posting consistently, creating a timeline of how long you've been in business. This gives people a lot of trust in the fact that you know what you're talking about, you've been doing it a while, and you're not going anywhere. The last one is underutilized, but being able to kind of like flex your team, your office, and things of that nature that are not directly correlated with your sales presentation. But for example, if you have a larger team, when you're talking about your business at the beginning of a sales call, being able to put a picture with all your employees, you look significantly more reputable. It's super important to flex. Obviously, if you don't have that, that's not a problem. I gave you 7 examples of what you are able to utilize, and everything that you have, you can magnify. To give you an example, if you don't have an office, but you work at a WeWork, you can use the common area to take a picture of you and your business partner or whatever and say that this is your headquarters in X city, okay? So the next part is how to build emotional control. This is what I consider to be my specialty, is because everybody wants their sales call to always be happy, 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 and then make your pitch. No, that's incorrect. You want to take the client or prospect through an emotional journey, positives, negatives, diving deep into the positives, diving deep into the negatives, because you want to truly establish a significant connection with this individual. And the funny part about this is that it's split into happy and sad. And when we look at each one of them separately, they actually come out to be exactly the same, which I'll show you guys in just a second. So what makes someone happy? Talking about themselves, right? And what are you doing while they're doing that? You are gathering ammo. I'm going to say this, and I can't stress enough how important this is. You and the prospect are having 2 completely different conversations. It's super important for you to be present with the prospect, but if you are simply having a conversation with them, you are not a salesperson. You are just regurgitating information that you know. This is not going to help you close 5-figure deals. It's definitely not going to help you close any 6-figure deals, okay? You cannot open your mouth if you are not gathering info in a call. No questions that are not going to serve a purpose. Okay. And the whole purpose of these questions is to add emotions and then gather ammo. Okay. The reason I say this, and I'll show you guys an example in just a second of how you can ask the same question as a happy based or a sad based question. It's going to make a lot of sense here in just a second. The next part is sad. And the funny part about this is that it is exactly the same. What makes someone sad? Talking about themselves in the areas where they lack. And what are you doing in this time? You guessed it. Gathering ammo. Okay. And we are going to unleash all this ammo here shortly. But just to show you guys what I mean by sad versus happy, asking someone a question where they get to talk about themselves, like, tell me a little bit more about your business. Okay. This is opening the ground for you to ask a ton of secondary questions that are going to give you significantly more important ammo. And again, the deeper you dive, the more powerful the ammo is. Because that question is kind of stupid if you're not going to ask a follow-up question. But you can ask the same exact question in a different statement, in a sense, saying something along the lines of what is not working in your business currently, right? So same question, one is going to take them down a sad path, one is going to take them down a happy path. And at the end of the day, I say sad as a black and white term. Obviously, this is not a therapy session, right? The whole goal is not for them to sit down and cry about their business, okay? But the goal is for them to feel pain, to feel a pain that you can relieve with your solution, which is exactly how we perform this sort of sales call, okay? After that, you're going to use the ammo that you've gathered to present yourself as the solution. Okay. And what you have to achieve in this part is they need to think about one thing. And the reason I made this in red, even though it doesn't match the theme that I'm going for, is this is so freaking important. You are the best option to solve their problem. Okay. I've heard people say that you are the best or only option to solve their problem. You're never the only option to solve their problem. Let's be honest here. But if you position yourself to be the best and most likely to solve their problem in the shortest time frame, you're going to win. Okay, I'll give you guys an example that someone that doesn't solve the problem as the only individual that solves it, but they solve it at a different scale. And a company, Amazon, right? So you can buy everything that is on Amazon in person. Okay, you can literally buy everything. You don't even need next day delivery. You can buy it same day if you go to your grocery store or your local Target or your local Walmart or whatever it may be. But what they do, what problem they solve is the time problem. Okay, they're not solving a product problem. And to show you guys that they are the best option, to them, the best option is the fastest shipping. And they have the fastest shipping. You see what I'm saying? So in order for you to be the best option to solve their problem, you need to understand what that problem is. Because a lot of individuals go and think that Amazon is solving their problem by delivering the product. No, it's by delivering the product in the time frame that they want it without them having to invest their time. So you have to always dig a layer deeper. And you guys remember where we talked about gathering ammo? While presenting your offer as the solution, you need to unleash all your ammo. Because if you ask the right questions and you asked enough of them and you dug deep enough, there will be no other objection other than a price objection, okay? And the thing is, you only get the price objection when the value is not there or when the prospect physically does not have the money. So you best believe that the only thing that is possible to happen at the end of this call is they don't have money, and that is the only reason that someone cannot buy from you. Because other than that, they need to be freaking obsessed with your presentation to where they're gonna call you after 3 to 6 months and say, I figured it out, I got the money, I wanna work with you, which happens to us all the time. So when it comes down to unleashing your ammo, it's important to present your offer in a format that is customized to that individual. So in the sad part, for example, let's say we're diving deep into the pain points and they are telling you that I don't like how my agency doesn't communicate with me. It's very hard to get in touch with them. I don't know what's going on the ad account. Forget your solution. Your solution right now is communication, okay? And that is exactly what makes your solution a good fit for the prospect. That's what allows you to close 5 and 6 figure deals, is because your value is exactly what they're looking for, but they simply just told you what they're looking for. A lot of people within a sales call, they tend to ask very little questions and they just want to get to that part where they talk about them because that's what makes them comfortable. That's where they feel the most comfortable. But the truth is, what you need to do is you need to dive into their problems, and the prospect will physically tell you how they want to be sold. Okay? Let that sink in. They will physically tell you how they want to be sold. But most of you guys are simply not listening. Okay? So if you are playing two different games, if the prospect is having a conversation and you are sitting there gathering ammo that you are about to unleash in your solution, guess what? You are going to become such a savage closer that closing deals, growing your business is never going to be a problem ever. I mean, physically, if we are behind on revenue, I can jump on 5 sales calls and get us a significantly better month, maybe even a record month, right? Because numbers like these, if you close 2 or 3 deals of this size in a short time period, it can significantly change the trajectory of your business, right? Especially if you have the ability to do that. And what I'm showing you guys today is literally black and white what I do, okay? I'm like not holding anything back. And the bonus at the end is gonna show you how I tie a knot on this whole thing. Okay, the next thing you need to do is you need to know your common objections and also handle them in your solution. A lot of common objections that happen may not be something that the prospect is aware within their situation or their pain points. So while you're presenting your solution and you're catering it to their situation and problems, make sure that you are also covering common objections within there. Nothing price related, just value related, okay? And then the next thing you want to do is very simple, which is assume the sale, which also is a very loosely used term these days, okay? So how do you assume the sale the right way? And I'm going to show you how others do it and how you're going to do it and how you're going to become an absolute savage, okay? So others do it, they say you just send the payment link, like you just send it in the chat. That's very weak. You pitch the price and you go quiet. The first one to speak loses. Have you guys ever heard of that? That's a weak sales individual. That is someone that read a book and thought that they are going to become Jordan Belfort tomorrow morning. Okay. That is a very weak way to close a deal. And then after that, another example is they go straight into scheduling the onboarding. It's like, this is our price, blah, blah, blah. Let me book you in for an onboarding. Weak sales person. Or they overtalk. They pitch the price and then they go on and yap for 30 minutes because they don't want to wait for the prospect to tell them the no that they are expecting because they just got a bunch of no's in the calls prior. Okay? If you want to be a savage closer, you need to start talking like one. You need to be confident like one. You need to have conviction in what you're doing, because at the end of the day, if you catered your solution to the prospect, why would they not want it? Think about that. This is how you're going to do it, and this is how you're going to do it with class, okay? Use this exact template that I use. I've done this in multiple niches. It works everywhere. Our program is X price, and based on what you told me about XYZ, we can have this solved for you by X date. Would you like me to send over the sign-up link? Okay? And that's pretty much it. A lot of people, they don't like to ask for permission to sell, but I think that's actually completely incorrect. I think when it comes down to someone that can afford a six-figure payment, they're not getting fooled by your sending the payment link in the chat, like just square this away. Like maybe this works on the 1,500, 2K little deals, but this doesn't work on 5-figure and 6-figure deals, especially if you want to increase your prices to be at least deeper into the 4 figures where you're charging 8K, 9K, 10K, or 8K, 9K, I guess. You need to be able to ask for the sale in a way that is structured like this, because to them here, they're not thinking to themselves anymore, Christian is trying to sell me. They're thinking to themselves, I can have this done by Thursday. I can have this done in 2 weeks. And that is so important, which I have no idea why not a lot of people use the date of when the problem will be solved in their pitch. It makes a completely different world, okay? And if you pitched correctly, originally how you unleashed your ammo and showed them yourself as the solution, the only option here is the price is too high, which you can handle that objection, or that's it. Like there's no other objections because you handled them already. And that's what makes the sale significantly simpler, okay? A lot of people, they miss this entirely, which ends up putting them in a situation here where you can get attacked from all different angles because you didn't handle this common objection, because you didn't show them a solution that is what they're looking for, that is catered to them, etc. Now, other than this, what can you do to even improve your close rate from there? And that's where we get to the bonus, okay? This is one of my favorite things to do because it's so easy. When someone says sign up link, they assume it's a payment link, okay? For us, a sign up link is a questionnaire that allows them to book with an account manager to get onboarded, okay? It takes like 30 to 45 minutes. That's not the payment link. So when they say yes, I send them the onboarding link. They see this massive form that's going to take 30 minutes. I tell them this is going to take about 30 to 45 minutes. Make sure to bookmark this tab. But in order to get you processed over to the next stage, instead of sending over a Stripe payment link or whatever payment processor you're using, ask them for the card details and enter them manually on the call right there and then. It's much simpler. It's okay, I'm ready for your card details. Are you going to be using MasterCard, Amex, or Visa? Something along those lines. Super easy, and it's going to increase your close rate significantly. Now, this doesn't have a 100% close rate, of course. That's not what I'm saying. However, if you apply these principles, I can promise you, you're going to convert significantly more deals. I've personally closed over $15 million in digital marketing sales or any sort of digital product sales. This works, okay? In black and white, you do this, you're going to become a savage. And that's simply it. Because if you segregate the only possible objection to be price, but your value is so much higher because it's going to solve their problem in a certain period, it's game over. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. If you want my company to run your ads for you, there's a link in the description. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, then there's another link in the description. I'll see you guys on the next video.